you lead, the seven kingdoms will follow.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was released this weekend and is directed by James Wan and once again stars Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, and Amber Heard.
My dog stepped on a bee.
Yeah, I was surprised she was in this movie still too. But the story follows Black Manta, still driven by the need to avenge his father's death, now wields the power of the mythic Black Trident. Will stop at nothing to take Aquaman down once and for all. To defeat him, Aquaman must turn to his imprisoned brother, Orm, the former king of Atlantis, to forge an unlikely alliance in order to save the world from the universal destruction. When it comes to the DC universe and where those movies stand right now, I think it's very shallow, and as far as the effort they put into the filmmaking and storytelling and how it compares to the source material. Now, by all means, I'm not one of those people who thinks everything should be just like the comics. I mean, if that was the case, I wouldn't even be watching these movies. I would just be reading the comics. But my expectations for this film were very low, especially after seeing everything DC has been putting out these last couple of years. I mean, yeah, I liked Matt Reeves' The Batman and those solo projects like The Joker and stuff. Those films are good. But as far as this extended universe, I did not like The Flash. I did not like Wonder Woman 1984. Or really anything since the Snyder Cut. I thought the Snyder Cut was really good. But for this one, I wasn't the biggest fan of Aquaman as a whole. I like James Wan. I think he's a good director. I've been a fan of his since basically everything he's done for the horror genre. But as far as this sequel to Aquaman, which I thought the first one was okay, but this one, my expectations were not there. I actually thought I was going to go into this movie hating it. But after finally seeing the film a few hours ago, I was actually surprised at how not shitty it was. Like, now by all means, it's not some masterpiece. It has its flaws, quite a few actually, having to deal with some characters and some of the directing choices, surprisingly. But I think a huge thing about that is that the film, I believe went through a lot of reshoots, and also with the whole issue and deal with Amber Heard's involvement with the film. She is in the movie, by the way. I actually thought they cut her out of the film as a whole before I went to go see it, but nah, she's in here. But her screen time is very minimal. She comes and goes. She gets her ass kicked a couple of times, which I thought was kind of funny. But I think the film really doesn't get good till they bring back Patrick Wilson's character, and it happens like midway into the film. And I think that section of the film actually is my favorite because it becomes this like brother adventure with Aquaman and his brother, and they're at these various different locations, different creatures that they're fighting and running away from. It just felt very different and fresh. Jason Momoa was a very likable presence, as he is in everything. He's a very likable main character, so I had no problem with him. Of course, there was a lot of exciting set pieces. There was a lot of good action moments. This film is entertaining. Writing, dialogue, some character choices and directing choices didn't always hit, but it was tolerable. There is one thing that happens in action films that I'm starting to pick up a lot every time I see it, and that's whenever our main characters are like stealthing and like in like this location before the final battle and are like knocking out guards and enemies. But it's not necessarily them knocking them out, it's how they knock them out. Like in this film, we have our main characters stealthing, and then there's guards and enemies that they creep up behind and hit them. They just hit them in the back, and they just fall and knock out. These guys have heavy armor. They have gear on, and they get hit in the back, and they just knock out. I think that's because it happens so obviously. It happened like 4 times, and I'm like, how did they get knocked out? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But this isn't the first time I've seen it. I've seen it in other films as well. But Manta was cool. The final battle was satisfying. I would say critically, this film was like 2 stars, but out of enjoyment, I'm giving it a 3. I could pick this film apart if I wanted to, but honestly, I think it's just fine. It's enough to keep you entertained. Jason Momoa is likable. Patrick Wilson's good. There's some funny moments, I guess, and some exciting action scenes. But other than that, I'm going to give Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom, a 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and I look forward to bringing you guys more reviews, also with my buddy Steven, very soon. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment down below what movies you guys want us to review next. I'm Matt, and I'll see you guys in the next video.